দাদা ভিডিওটো অন কৰি ল'ব, আমি আৰম্ভ কৰিব পাৰোঁ।
আৰু জয়েন কৰিবনে কোনোবা? 4 জনে থাকিব।
নাই দাদা, আপোনাৰ
লিংকটো বনাওঁতে দেৰি হৈছে, লিংকটো দিওঁতে, সেইটো কাৰণে বোধহয় 4 জন আৰু থাকিলে ভাল আছিলে।
আমি স্টার্ট কৰিব পাৰো ন?
নিশ্চয় নিশ্চয় ষ্টাৰ্ট কৰিব পাৰে।
Namaskar. Good evening, everyone. I am Devika Datta, PGT English, presently working in 𝐒𝐤𝐿 𝐼𝐻𝐚𝐧𝐢𝐿 Kamrup. In this evening, we are going to join in a very important discourse on a very significant topic, keeping in mind our state, Assam in particular, and as a whole, the other northeastern states are also in general. Today's topic of the discourse is significance and future prospects of the Assamese language getting classical status. In this connection, it is well known to all of us that on last 3rd October, a historical decision was taken by the Union Cabinet under the chairmanship of the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi ji. It was that 5 Indian languages were given the recognition of classical status, and it is our privilege, proud privilege, that our mother tongue, Assamese language also is one of those 5 languages which recently got the recognition. In this context, let me tell you another thing also. This process of getting the recognition by our mother tongue, that is Assamese language, it is a long 8 years intellectual movement on the part of the intellectual society and our state government as a whole. It was started right in the year 2016 when Dr. Sangeeta Saikia, first of all, she sent a letter to then Assam Chief Minister, Honorable H.𝐵𝐺 Sonowal sir, for requesting for giving the recognition to take the necessary measures so that our mother tongue can get the recognition. Hereafter, as far as I am concerned, by the year 2020, it was the COVID time, under the initiative of our present Chief Minister, Honorable Sri Himanta Biswa Sarma sir, his cabinet, and our this Assam Prakashan Parishad's respected Pramod Kalita sir, today's would-be host, and few more officials were involved in the entire process. In the same context, let me also mention the name of our respected Dr. Kulodhar Hoikia sir, the ex-president of Assam Sahitya Sabha, because under his guidance only the entire 300 something page report was prepared for the entire process. And finally, the D-Day came on 3rd October 2024. Now, dear audience, let me introduce today's guest, the guest speaker. It is again my privilege to introduce you today's guest, respected Dr. Bhaskar Jyoti Sarma sir. He is the Associate Professor of Anandaram Barua Institute of Language, Art and Culture, and he is the person who right from the year 2020 is relentlessly putting his best effort with our state government for bringing this recognition to our mother tongue. Welcome, Dr. Sarma sir, and may I request you to proceed today's discourse. Sir, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, I'm
Okay,
hearing.
and good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Actually, the classical status actually of Assam, Assamese language of the Assamese language, it is a long that procedure is maintained by the state government, and the state government took the initiative to get the uh, classical status of Assamese from the right back to the year of 2020. First of all, I want to say that this is a procedure of government jurisdiction, procedure of government effort, and which is taken by the state government first, and after that the central government, the three ministry of the central government should recognize this proposal, allow this proposal for, and these three ministry should forward this proposal for the recognition of the classical status. These three ministries are classical, cultural ministry, education ministry, and home ministry. So from the state government effort, it is passed through the legislative assembly, demanding it in the legislative assembly of Assam, and after that, Pavitra Margarita, he is a member of parliament of Rajya Sabha. He actually raised this issue in parliament, and after that it becomes a concrete proposal, and then the government home department actually recognized finally, and after that cabinet decision finalized the procedure. So for the Assamese language, actually uh, we should explain how the Assamese language fulfill the criteria of that. That I have to say something as an introduction of this uh, issue. The classical Assamese classical language, actually it is initiated in the 2024. And there are three criterias actually framed in that year. The three criteria was high antiquity of its early text recorded history over 1,000 years, and initially it was mentioned as over 1,000 years. And number two, a body of ancient literature text which is considered a valuable heritage by a generation of speakers. And third one was the literary tradition must be original, not borrowed from the another speech community. And it is amended, it is reviewed in 2005 by including this criteria. The following criteria, actually these are the criteria: high antiquity of its early textbook history over the period of 1500 to 2000 years. And in the 2000, in the year of 2005, actually 1500 to 2000 years is included in the specific years. So a body of ancient literature text which is considered a valuable heritage of generation of the speakers. The literary tradition be original and not borrowed from the others. This is followed by the 2004 criteria. And the literary tradition, and another one is the classical language and literature being distinct from modern. There may also be a discontinuity between the classical language and its later forms of the offshoots. So it is again reviewed in 2024. That in 2024 the criteria are almost same. It is high antiquity of its early text records history over 1500 to 2000 years. It is already mentioned in 2004 and 2005 also. A body of ancient literature, it is also mentioned in the both review. Knowledge, knowledge text, it is included. Knowledge text, especially prose text, in addition to poetry, epigraphical and inscriptional evidences. And number 4 is the classical language and literature could be distinct from current form or could be discontinuous with later forms of its offshoots. So these are the almost same criteria in 2024 also. And first of all, I have to mention here in 2024. In 2004, Tamil language is recognized as the classical language in 12th October 2004, and Sanskrit is 25th November 2005, and Telugu is 31st October 2008, and Kannada is 31st October 2008, Malayalam 8 August 2013, and Oriya, lastly the Oriya, 1st March 2024, and recently 5 languages are recognized, that Pali, Marathi, Pali, Prakrit, Assamese, and Bangla. So in the preparation of the classical document, we have gone through the history of the Assamese language, and we actually in the document we try to draw it back to the pre-Vedic age. We have the in Assamese language has the relation with the Indo-Iranian language, which is the pre-Vedic language, and it is distinct connection with that language, like Avestan, Old Farsian, and Tokharian. This language has close relation with Assamese language, and we have the pre-Vedic elements in Assamese language, and we mentioned it, and we draw it back to the pre-Vedic age. And after that, direct Vedic age also we have relation. That means generally we see that Assamese, it is actually said by the scholars, Assamese is derived from the Magadhi Prakrit, from likely to be 10th century, but it is not true. Actually, we have another historical Prakrit. It is already mentioned by many scholars like Kaliram Medhi, Devananda Bharali. They are actually proved it that we have another Prakrit. This is Kamrupi Prakrit. And we have closely relation with the Sorosini. That means Marathi language is modern Indian language. We have close relation with the Sorosini Prakrit. So it has a long history and a significant antiquity of the Assamese language. So we try to draw these elements and try to mention it. And interestingly, we proved it from not only from the linguistic point of view. It is also actually it has also relation with the history and archaeology and other Puranas and other ancient books. So we can prove from all the elements that Assamese language has a great antiquity, more than 2,500 years. So culturally, we are related to the Austric language, Austric community, and it goes back to 5,000 years BC. So to prepare this document, we draw all the elements of the historical antiquity and archaeological resources. We examine it, and after that we prepare it. And we have a great continuity. Continuity of the ancient scripts are also ancient script, that is rock inscription and copper plate inscription from the beginning of the 4th century. And now one inscription is actually found out, that the Dubrani inscription, rock inscription, it is prior to the 4th century. Actually, generally we have seen that Umasal and 𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐻𝐿 rock inscription is the oldest inscription, but Dubrani inscription, it is already proved that before 4th century it was written, it was encrypted. So in written documents also we can go beyond the 4th century. AD. And from the literature point of view, from the literature, we actually distinct literature. We have the 𝐒𝐢𝐠𝐬𝐑. It is 9th century to 12th century AD. It is written, and after that we have a great literary history also. And we know that Madhav Kondoli is the first person who translated the Ramayana in 14th century. 14th century. It is the first translation among the North Indian languages, all of the North Indian languages. Before that, the in Tamil language, Ramayana was just translated. After that, the Assamese is the first language in which the Ramayana was translated in the 14th century. So we have a great continuity, significant continuity of the language, literature, history, culture, and other resources. So we prepared the document, and this process is actually practically it is started in 2020. So we already mentioned in various places that in 2020, in 27th February, I had a connection with the Professor D.P. Patnaik sir, who was the prime person of getting the Oriya language classical status. I had a talk with him, and immediately he called us to the Orissa. If you please come to Orissa, and we are giving you the pathways by which you can proceed to get the classical status for the Assamese language. And in March, actually 3rd March, I think, myself and Pramod Kolita, we proceed to the D.P. Patnaik sir. And after that, he actually arranged a meeting. The member of the meeting was the members of the classical Oriya document committee. There is a MP, member of parliament, ex-ambassador, and other prominent linguists are there. And they actually suggest us what is the actual procedure to move forward for the classical status for Assamese language. So there are some procedure and which can only be done by the government. It is a government procedure, purely government procedure. Nobody can do it individually or by the non-government organization. It is not possible to get the classical status. And he actually explained all those things. We have to place it the state legislative assembly. It is a part of that movement, part of the procedure, and we have to place it parliament formally. It should be recorded in the parliament before getting the classical status, before approaching to the central government. So Pavitra Margherita, he also already placed this matter in parliament. Rajya Sabha, and after that we prepared the document finally, and we submitted. 3 members we have, that Dr. Mridul Bordloi. He is the professor and head of the Department of English, Dibrugad University. Dr. Nomita Devi, associate professor and HOD of History, Department of History, Barbak College, and myself. And the chairman is Sumanta Soliha. He is the vice chairman of the publication board, and the member secretary is the Pramod Kolita. He initiated all those procedures. So we know that this is the decision of the cabinet. So it is the government procedure. Clearly, it is mentioned there. And recently we met last 2 days back. We met Dharmendra Pradhanji, Education Minister in Delhi. Last two days back, we had a meeting, and he clearly said that Assam government initiative is the most significant one. Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma is the Chief Minister of the Assam government, and he took the initiative from his part, and he wrote down many letters to the central government, Narendra Modi ji and other officers. And Professor D.P. Patnaik also shows us some document, corresponding documents, which that cultural ministry of the Uriya government, they took that part to write down the central government. They show us some letters. How should we write that letter for recognition of the Assamese language? They give some copies of the corresponding letters. So this is the completely part of the Assam government, and actually Assam government should get the credit all this recognition, all the initiatives of the recognition. So now it is already established that Assamese is a historical language, and it is continued from before the BC. So what next? The question is what next? Assamese language got the classical status, but now the time to preserve it, now the time to bring it forward. How can we maintain the status? This is the maintaining the classical status is another effort, and it is most significant effort. And we had talked with Pradhan Dharmendra Pradhanji, and he actually suggests that to take the initiative how the Assamese language heritage and Assamese culture, Assamese history, and all the Northeastern history. Actually, Assamese language means not only the Assamese language. In the ancient time, Assam covers all the North Bengal, some parts of the Orissa and Bangladesh, entire Northeast India, and we discovered many archaeological that evidences in different places of the Northeastern India. So Assamese language, classical Assamese language means not only the Assamese language. It's ancient Assamese language or Kambupi language covers all this area: historical antiquity, cultural antiquity, and other things. So now, in the discussion, we actually express it that this classical status bring all those languages, all communities of the Northeastern India up to a level so that they could also develop their communities within the umbrella of the Assamese community, not Assamese language. It becomes an umbrella. Assamese community will become an umbrella to take all the communities of the Northeast for their development. So actually, technically, there are some technical part after getting the Assamese classical status. We should proceed through this technical part. This is one most important thing is that a central institute will be established in Assam, through which we can do everything for the Assamese language in the future. So this institute is most important, and Dharmendra Pradhanji already mentioned that institute will be established by the assistance of the central government, and it is completely run by the central government and with the help of the state government. So the 2 international award will be declared from the Assamese Classical Institute, international award. It will give us a big area, and it will recognize us internationally. In the Assamese language recognized internationally by giving the international award. This another thing, and one classical Assamese share should be established in all the central university. So these steps cannot be taken by the central government. These steps should be taken by the state government or stakeholders of the state government or the linguist or other prominent person. We have to take the initiative and good effort by which we can establish the Assamese language as a classical language nationally and internationally. So these are the technical part. So I have seen that in Tamil classical, they are doing some on the language technology from the Central Institute of Classical Tamil. So why we need that language technology, or why we need to develop the technological effort to establish the Assamese language as a classical language. So digitization is one of the most important thing, because now Assamese language should have sufficient resource in the digital platform. So the ancient resources should be digitized, and in the Tamil center, they are now doing in the development of some computer application, by which the Tamil language can be expanded, uh, can be uh, can be preserved, and can be popularized for the native speakers. So we should take some effort to develop some computer application, by which the language can be popularized, language can be the community people can be attracted by using these apps. These are also new initiative of the classical languages. Tamil language has done lots of things on this matter. So and the responsibility of the Assamese community. I am not saying that Assamese speaker, the community of Assamese speakers. I am saying that Assamese community, we have the responsibility to uh, to to, uh, to collect all the heritage of the Assamese language, Assamese community, and it should be preserved in such a way by which the common people can read it, can access it easily. So the first step will be how.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
In this connection, some of our viewers are asking certain questions. They want to know.
Okay.
Actually,
Okay.
sorry for being interrupted in
No
the
problem.
middle of the session. First of all, one question is that one of them wants to know regarding this 2,500 year long history of our language. And second one, he wants to know regarding, because you are referring to Sarjapad, so he wants to know about Sarjapad, its relation to our language. So it would be very nice if you can enlighten them and us also. So regarding Sarjapad, one question, and second one is regarding the long history of our language, since it is almost 2,500 years old.
Yeah.
Kindly, sir, elaborate how we are getting today's form of the language. That they want to know.
Yeah, I already mentioned these things, that we have the long heritage. If we see the inscription of the Assamese language, it is 4th century, before the 4th century AD. Before the 4th century AD, we have the documents. And classical Assamese status actually not getting only for the language, only for the heritage of the language. It should have the cultural heritage. It should have the historical evidences, archaeological evidences. So all of these are the criteria for getting the classical status of the Assamese language. So if we see that written form is much later than the spoken form, it is the linguistically proved theory that a language, after many more years later, the written form is recorded. So if we get the record of written form in 4th century, before the 4th century, or to 2nd and 3rd century AD, we have the written record, first one. That means the spoken form is much earlier. Spoken form is developed much earlier than the 2nd century AD. It is linguistically proved theory. Then if we say that Assamese language is developed from the 1st century AD, then 2004, 400 years already it has. Number one. Number two, Sorjapada is the literature. Literature is developed much later than the spoken form of the language. The Sorjapada, actually, most of the Sergia writers are from the ancient Kamrupo. They are. It is already proved that they are belongs to the ancient Kamrupo, and language of the Sorjapada is much more similar with the modern Assamese than other languages. So it is already proved in many places. Even Suniti Kumar Chatterjee also in one time he said that it is a common language of the Assamese, Bangla, Oriya, Maithili, these four languages. But if we examine the language structure and the structure of the words and structure of the morphological structure and syntactic structure, it is closely related to the Assamese language. So it is the from that point of view, we can say that that is the earliest literature of the Assamese language. It is the evidence of literature. Literature does not mean that the language is formed from that point. Language is formed much before that that period.
Yeah.
So this is the clarity of the Assamese literature. After that, we have the continuity of literature. So 10th century, 12th century, and 14th century, we have the Prag Vaishnav, Prag Shankari, that Madhav Kondali, Horibal Vipra, Rudra Kondali, Kaviratna Saraswati. They are doing lots of their work actually established the Assamese literature in a high quality. After that, Shankardev, but it has a great significant continuity of the Assamese literature. So
A kind of literary movement.
Yeah, literary movement.
Literary movement. Sir, in this context, there is one particular question in my mind. You are referring to the construction, establishment of this one institute. On the basis of our language got the classical status, and another thing is that this institute will be responsible for giving certain international award. So international award in the field of language or language and literature both?
No, actually, language literature, actually classical status covers the language, literature, anthropology, culture, history, everything which is closely related to a community. Language cannot be detached from the culture. Language cannot be detached from the heritage of the historical heritage. Can be detached from the archaeology. We are getting much more evidences from the archaeological resources. So all this area covered the classical status. So in all this area, it can be the award can be actually it will be finalized by a specific committee. They will actually prepare the criteria, basic criteria, concrete criteria to whom it can be awarded. So it is another part of the institute or the government. Government, the chief minister will be the chairman of that institute. It is the mandate of the classical status. So it will cover all this area.
So another query on my part, since I am a teacher, because in NEP 2020, much importance is given on language, art, and culture. I feel so that this part of this phase of or this process of granting classical status to different Indian languages is also a part of the NEP 2020 because you are a scholar in this aspect. That's why I'm asking, just to clear my doubts.
It is very clear. Actually, Dhananand Pradhanji also told us in that meeting that it is closely related to the NEP policy. In NEP, lots of effort is lots of importance is given to the language, art, culture in this part. So this development, the work of the institute, the work which is will be initiated by the institute, it will be the material of the course in some ways. So NEP 2020, the significance of the cultural preservation of culture, language. So it is it will be the initiative effort of the institute to develop the resources by which the NEP 2020 will be succeed. So it is most important thing for the NEP 2020 also. It is already declared by the Pradhanji also.
Sir, another thing, another query actually. This is, you are talking about interconnecting the entire northeastern states through this classical language, isn't it? So, but in between, we are also aware of the fact that even inside Assam also, when we talk about Assamese as the greater community, certain conflicts arise, is not it? Because this is my query, and it may be the queries of so many other viewers also. And then if inside our states, such conflicts are arising in the name of different communities or tribes because they are having their own dialect or language. So as far as the other northeastern states are concerned, how can we do this? Because if we can do it, it would be a tremendous achievement, victory on our part. That Borokhom. What we say, no? Borokhom. If Assamese can include all the tribes, communities, and we can equally ensure the protection and preservation of their languages and dialects, it would be a big achievement. So, sir, kindly tell us, how can it be achieved? What is your plan, or what is the plan of our government at the initial stage? It may be in the initial stage also. Kindly acknowledge us.
First of all, I can say that Borokhom concept can be materialized by the language, culture, and other elements. So it is only the way to bring out the Borokhom concept. The language can be, actually, we have to study the language to make the northeastern states as a Borokhom. It is already discussed with the Bharatiya Bhasha Samiti, Professor Shambhu Shastriji's, we had a long discussion regarding this matter. How can how can the Assamese language, Assamese community can be an umbrella for the northeastern communities? So there is lot of conflicts. It is not the conflicts, actually, we are creating the conflicts. We don't have any conflict. But we are creating, we are actually provoking to make conflict between us. So actually, diversity, we are not using actually diversity. We are using the variation or variety. In northeastern states, we have variation of language, variation of culture, not diversity. If we say, if we see that in the Assamese culture, what is Assamese culture? Without having the elements of the northeastern communities, there is no existence of the Assamese culture. So if we link up the communities, another communities with the Assamese community through the cultural elements, that means we have these elements we are getting from that Missing community, we are getting from the Boro community also getting from cultural elements from the Assamese community, from Missing community. If we analyze it clearly, then we will be closer to each other. If we examine, if we analyze the Assamese language, the elements of the Assamese language, where the Tibeto-Burman elements are there, Austric elements are there, and Indo-Aryan, it is the base of the language. So Dravidian elements are also in Assamese language. So if we show all these elements are in Assamese language and they are also getting some elements from the other languages, then we can come closer. So this will be the effort of the institute to analyze, to discuss, to actually what I can say, to research on it, what kind of resources in every language, culture, and other parts of the community, and what kind of elements is there. If one Deori community convinced that these elements we are borrowing from that, we are getting from that other community, and other community also getting some elements from us. That means we are in same area, same cultural area, same classical area. So we have to analyze it. We have to study all the languages under the initiative of the Assamese Classical Institute. Assamese Classical Institute does not mean that it will study only the Assamese language. It is not possible to study the only Assamese language without having any study on other languages of the Northeast India, because we have the elements. If we find out some elements from the Boro language, we have to study the Boro language. If some elements from the Tangsa community of the north of the Arunachal Pradesh, if we have some elements, we have to study the Tangsa language and their culture. So like that, we can cover all the northeastern communities' culture and language. And through this procedure, it is a long procedure. It will take long time. But after getting the help of the central government, state government, it is possible to cover all the northeastern states as Borohom. Culturally, linguistically, and anthropologically, archaeology, we can say that we are northeastern states are in one cultural area, which is closely related to the pan-Indian culture. We cannot detach from the India, because we have historical evidence that we have relation to the mainland of the India, that South India, Northern India. We have close relation, and we are getting many more elements. So we can relate all these communities. We can cover all this.
So Assamese can do it, play the role of interlinking.
That's right. That's why we are getting the classical status, because we should do much more thing for the northeastern community along with the Indian.
Because we need to play the role of big brother.
And we have close relation with the Uriya language also, Marathi language also. So we have to study all those things. To know our language, to know our culture, to know our everything, actually.
Sir, another question again from my point of view. You see, in Assamese language, first of all, let us talk about Assamese language. There are so many beautiful books. Right from the time of our board Gurujana, then led Dr. Birendra Kumar Bhattacharya and so many others. But the problem is that not proper translation work is being done. Will it be also under the purview of this institute? Translating books, not only in Assamese, in Bodo also. In the same way, in Khasi, because Khasi is also a language. Since I am a JNB student, teacher, Khasi, Garo, these languages are being taught in the schools in Meghalaya. So I feel there are so many prospects of translation work also, sir. We are lagging behind in this aspect.
Actually, translation is much poor in Assamese in comparison to the other Indian languages. So translation studies is most important part of the language to develop for the common people. So this is also one important part. This will be one important part of that institute. So not only the old ancient books, but also the present and some
contemporary
books can be translated to other Indian languages or other than the Indian languages. So it will be a part of that institute. It's already clearly mentioned in our
So a lot of prospects are waiting for us actually.
So actually, it will depend upon our effort. And what kind of effort we can do for for actually for getting we already got the status, but to continue this status, our effort will be much more important. Otherwise, only that status is given, it is enough. It is not like. So our responsibility will be bigger than the central government.
Yeah, definitely. And hope in the coming days, our efficient Honorable Chief Minister will definitely play a very vital role.
He will take the responsibilities.
So, thank you so much, sir, for acknowledging us, enlightening us. I myself was not so much aware of so many things, the way you are talking about the antiquities, and hope in the coming days we would love to read some literature, means articles from your part.
Right.
It would be better, no? It would enlighten the present generation, young generation also, generation next to us. They will be also benefited, since you are a resource person in this aspect. And thank you so much. It was our privilege. And would you like to say something more about the prospect?
Prospect means it is already mentioned. Actually, prospect will come out after the establishing of the institute. So we have given much importance to establishing the institute, because the institute will be the nodal force to bring the classical status in future. So prospects will be come out, and these are the main prospects. We have to popularize our heritage, our language, culture, heritage to the people. And Dharmendra Pradhanji actually said one important thing in that time: the Assamese language or Marathi language or Pali Prakrit. It should not be confined. Assamese language should not confine only for the Assamese community. It should be expanded to the entire Indian languages. So one Marathi, one Uriya language speaker can learn the Assamese language, can learn the heritage, can understand the heritage of the Assamese language, antiquity of the Assamese language. One Tamil people should learn the Assamese language, the beauty of the Assamese language. It should be expanded to all over India, not confined on the Assamese language, Assam or Northeast India. So he told us this important thing. So many more prospects will come time to time after getting the concrete steps towards the initiative of the classical status.
So thank you so much, sir. And I would like to convey my thanks to the viewers also, to the audience also. It was really a proud privilege on the part of us that we could listen to Dr. Bhaskar Jyoti Sharma sir, and hope in the coming days sir would enlighten us with more such discourses and write-ups from his part, so that in the coming days we can establish Assamese language as the interlinking between the northeastern states and the other parts of India. The so-called conflicts in the name of linguistic chauvinism will be definitely vanishing in the coming days, and a much greater literary environment will prevail in the entire northeastern region, not only in Assam, northeastern as a whole. So thank you so much.
Okay, namaskar.
Thank you. Namaskar, sir. Namaskar.